The New York Knickerbockers, shortened and more commonly referred to as the New York Knicks, are an American professional basketball team based in the New York City borough of Manhattan. The Knicks compete in the National Basketball Association, NBA, as a member of the Atlantic Division of the Eastern Conference. The team plays its home games at Madison Square Garden, an arena they share with the New York Rangers of the National Hockey League, NHL. They are one of two NBA teams located in New York City. The other team is the Brooklyn Nets. Alongside the Boston Celtics, the Knicks are one of two original NBA teams still located in its original city. The team, established by Ned Irish in 1946, was one of the founding members of the Basketball Association of America, BAA, which became the NBA after merging with the rival National Basketball League, NBL, in 1949. The Knicks were successful during their early years and were constant playoff contenders under the franchise's first head coach, Joe Lapchick. Beginning in 1950, the Knicks made 3 consecutive appearances in the NBA Finals, all of which were losing efforts. Lapchick resigned in 1956, and the team subsequently began to falter. It was not until the late 1960s, when Red Holtzman became the head coach, that the Knicks began to regain their former dominance. Holtzman successfully guided the Knicks to 2 NBA championships in 1970 and 1973. The Knicks of the 1980s had mixed success that included 6 playoff appearances. However, they failed to participate in the NBA Finals. The playoff-level Knicks of the 1990s were led by future Hall of Fame center Patrick Ewing. This era was marked by passionate rivalries with the Chicago Bulls, Indiana Pacers, and Miami Heat. During this time, they were known for playing tough defense under head coaches Pat Riley and Jeff Van Gundy, making NBA Finals appearances in 1994 and 1999. However, they were unable to win an NBA championship during this era. Since 2000, the Knicks have struggled to regain their former successes, but won their first division title in 19 years in 2012-13, led by a core of forwards Carmelo Anthony and Amara Stoudemire. They were eventually eliminated in the Eastern Conference semifinals by the Indiana Pacers, and had failed to make the playoffs for 8 years until 2020-21, when they were led by forward Julius Randle and sophomore R.J. Barrett, who was selected 3rd overall in the 2019 NBA Draft. Franchise history. In 1946, basketball, particularly college basketball, was a growing and increasingly profitable sport in New York City. Hockey was another popular sport at the time and generated considerable profits. However, the arenas were not used often. Max Case, a New York sports writer, became the sports editor at the Boston American in the 1930s when he met Boston Garden owner Walter A. Brown. Case developed the idea of an organized professional league to showcase college players upon their graduation and felt it could become profitable if properly assembled. Brown, intrigued by the opportunity to attain additional income when the hockey teams were not playing or on the road, contacted several arena owners. On June 6, 1946, Case and Brown and a group of 17 others assembled at the Commodore Hotel in New York City as the Basketball Association of America, BAA, where charter franchises were granted to major cities throughout the country. Ned Irish, a college basketball promoter, retired sports writer, and then president of Madison Square Garden, was in attendance. Case originally planned to own and operate the New York franchise himself and approached Irish with a proposal to lease the Garden. Irish explained that the rules of the Arena Managers Association of America stated that Madison Square Garden was required to own any professional teams that played in the arena. On the day of the meeting, Case made his proposal to the panel of owners. However, they were much more impressed by Irish and his vast resources. Case relented, and the franchise was awarded to Irish. Irish wanted a distinct name for his franchise that was representative of the city of New York. He called together members of his staff for a meeting to cast their votes in a hat. After tallying the votes, the franchise was named the Knickerbockers. The Knickerbocker name comes from the pseudonym used by Washington Irving in his book A History of New York, a name that became applied to the descendants of the original Dutch settlers of what later became New York, and later, by extension, to New Yorkers in general. In search of a head coach, Irish approached successful St. John's University coach Joe Lapchick in May 1946. Lapchick readily accepted after Irish promised to make him the highest-paid coach in the league. However, he requested he remain at St. John's one more season in hopes of winning one last championship. Irish obliged, hiring former Manhattan College coach Neil Cohalan as interim coach for the first year. With no college draft in the league's initial year, there was no guarantee that the Knicks or the league itself would thrive. Consequently, teams focused on signing college players from their respective cities as a way to promote the professional league. The Knicks held their first training camp in the Catskill Mountains at the Neville Country Club. 25 players were invited to attend the 3-week session. Players worked out twice a day, and the chemistry between the New York natives was instant. With a roster assembled, the Knicks faced the Toronto Huskies at Toronto's Maple Leaf Gardens on November 1, 1946, in what would be the franchise's first game, as well as the first in league history. In a low-scoring affair presented in front of 7,090 spectators, the Knicks defeated the Huskies 68-66, with Leo Gottlieb leading the Knicks in scoring with 14 points. With Madison Square Garden's crowded schedule, the Knicks were forced to play many of their home games at the 69th Regiment Armory during the team's early years. The Knicks went on to finish their inaugural campaign with a 33-27 record and achieved a playoff berth under Cohalan despite a dismal shooting percentage of 28%. The Knicks faced the Cleveland Rebels in the quarterfinals, winning the series 2-1. However, the Knicks were swept by the Philadelphia Warriors in 2 games in the semifinals. As promised, Lapchick took over in 1947, bringing with him his up-tempo coaching style, which emphasized fast ball movement. 6 new players were signed, including guard Carl Brown and Japanese-American guard Wataru Misaka, the first non-Caucasian basketball player in the BAA. Under Lapchick, the Knicks made 9 straight playoff appearances beginning in 1947. Braun, who averaged 14.3 points, emerged as the team's star and paired with Dick Holub and Bud Palmer to account for half of the team's offense. Despite this, the Knicks struggled throughout the year, compiling a 26-22 record. Their finish was good enough to place them second in the Eastern Division and secure a playoff matchup against the Baltimore Bullets, where they lost the series 2-1. In the 1948 NBA Draft, the Knicks selected 2 future Hall of Fame players in center Dolph Schayes and Harry Gallatin. The Knicks were leery of Schayes' talent, prompting the center to leave to play for the Syracuse Nationals of the struggling National Basketball League. Despite losing Schayes, the team started the year well, going 17-8 before they fell into a slump. They ended the year with a 7-game win streak to finish with a 32-28 record and a 3rd straight playoff appearance. The Knicks defeated the Bullets in a rematch of their previous encounter in 1947, winning the series 2-1. The team, however, struggled against the Washington Capitals and lost the series 1-2. Prior to the beginning of the 1949-50 season, the BAA merged with the National Basketball League to form the National Basketball Association, with the BAA absorbing 6 teams from its former competitor. Despite division realignments, the Knicks remained in the Eastern Division. The team continued its dominance under Lapchick, winning 40 games. However, they lost the Eastern Division Finals to the Syracuse Nationals. The following season, the Knicks made history, signing Sweetwater Clifton to a contract, thus becoming the first professional basketball team to sign an African-American player. During this same season, the Knicks finished with a 36-30 record. Though they placed 3rd in their division, they secured a playoff spot and began the first of 3 consecutive trips to the NBA Finals. In spite of their success, the Knicks could not overcome the Rochester Royals, despite a valiant comeback after losing the first 3 games of the finals. The next 2 years, in 1952 and 1953, New York fell to the Minneapolis Lakers in the finals. It was during this early period the Knicks developed their first standout players in Carl Braun, who retired as the Knicks' leading scorer with 449 points before later being surpassed by the likes of Patrick Ewing, Walt Frazier, and Willis Reed. Harry Gallatin and Dick McGuire were also well-known standouts on the team and were later enshrined in the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame. Following these back-to-back losses, the Knicks made the playoffs in the subsequent 2 years with no success. Lapchick resigned as the team's head coach in January 1956, citing health-related issues. Vince Barilla made his debut in February 1956 as the Knicks' new coach in a win over the St. Louis Hawks. However, after 2 seasons of poor performances and no playoff appearances, Barilla tendered his resignation from the team in April 1958. Looking to regain their former dominance, Andrew Levain was named the head coach, and in his first year, the results were significantly better as the team finished with a 40-32 record, securing their playoff spot. However, the Knicks could not manage to get past the Eastern Division semifinals. The Levain-led squad fared poorly to begin the 1959-60 season, and under mounting pressure, Levain resigned and was immediately replaced by Carl Braun, who became the team's first player coach. The team did not fare much better under Braun, and the Knicks hired Eddie Donovan, who helped build up St. Bonaventure's basketball team in 1961. During Donovan's tenure, New York failed to achieve a playoff berth. As a testament to their struggles, on March 2, 1962, the Knicks faced the Philadelphia Warriors in Hershey, Pennsylvania, where they infamously allowed Wilt Chamberlain to score an NBA record 100 points in a 169-147 Warriors victory. In 1964, the franchise's fortunes began to take a steady turn. The Knicks drafted center Willis Reed, who made an immediate impact on the court and was named NBA Rookie of the Year for his efforts. However, the leaders of the team still remained in flux. In an attempt to reorganize, the Knicks named former standout Harry Gallatin as head coach while reassigning Donovan to general manager position. After a slow start in 1965, Dick McGuire, another former Knick, replaced his former teammate Gallatin midway through the season. Though he failed to guide the Knicks to the playoffs in 1965, he managed to do so the following season. However, the Knicks lost in the Eastern Division semi-finals. Please like, subscribe, and comment on the next video you want to see.